What is up, guys? It's me, boy Kwis, and we are back again with another video, a different kind of video. And also, before we begin, happy 2022. By the time I'm recording this video, it's still 2021, but I decided I'm gonna be smart this year. I'm gonna record the video early, edit it early, so I can get to you guys by 2022, because the current Kwis is probably hungover as shit, really regretting all of his life decisions right now. So I'm going to take care of some of that work for him. And as you can tell by the title, we are getting into a different kind of video today. Also, if I haven't said it already, because I don't know when I'm uploading this, thank you guys for 23,000 subscribers. We hit it before the end of the year. I didn't really make a post or say anything too special about it, but you know, that's a big milestone. 25k coming soon, who knows, 50k, whatever the hell this year we'll be getting, because I do have some very big personal and channel related announcements coming this year. Some very big things I'm very excited for. So we'll be branching out a lot more this year, doing a lot more different things. There's going to be more things coming to the content. So a lot of these games you're going to be seeing in this list, haven't introduced it properly, but this list is going to be some of the games I'm really excited for in 2022. I have a PS5 now. I like just saying that because it feels really nice to say. I have a PS5 now, and so a lot of these games I'm going to be really excited to test out on the next gen hardware, and some I'll still be playing on my trusty old PC. But yeah, like I said, 2022 we're going to be doing some very big things. I'm very excited for a lot of the things coming. So a lot of these games may be coming into content as well, so I think let me talk about them as soon as possible. And if you guys want to see content for these games, you want to see me talk about them, you want to see streams for this game, remember I do stream over on Twitch. You know, like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell me in the comment section, come to my house. Don't actually come to my house, but just let me know in any way you can, and I'll do my best to get some content of these games for you guys, because I enjoy doing other things, and if you guys enjoy watching me do other things, the other things become more fun for everybody. Without further ado, let's get into the list. And the first game on the list, I'm mixing things up a bit. I'm going to talk about the game I am probably the most excited for next year, so the same for that for the end. We're going to get right here right now is Elden Ring. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Soulsborne series. I recently have been replaying through Sekiro and, you know, just going through getting all the different endings. Bloodborne was one of my favorite games of the previous decade. I New Game plus that game. I think at least 3 New Game pluses of that game. Still have never died to Murgo's Wet Nurse and the Blood-Starved Beast, the only 2 bosses I've never died to in that game, so I'm trying to keep it that way. But I've still never beaten the Orphan of Kos, so there's that. But Elden Ring is the latest game coming from Software in 2022. It's their most ambitious project. They're saying it's mixing all of the Soulsborne, Dark Souls, even going back as far as Demon Souls, Sekiro and Bloodborne all into one game, a lot of different elements. It's an open world, which gives you lots of places to die and just get mad and salt, which is kind of what I enjoy about these games sometimes, just how unfair it can be. The game looks absolutely amazing. I didn't get to play the network test, unfortunately. I think I was traveling that weekend, or I think that was the weekend of, I think, Red Bull Kumite, so unfortunately I couldn't play the network test. So I'll be diving into the game. I've tried to stay away from as much like watching other people play the game. I've just been like looking at trailers and stuff like that, stuff like From Software put out, because I want to be as surprised as possible by certain things. I want to die. That was a really morbid sentence, wasn't it? I want to die in as many like random ways as possible and get surprised by certain things. Like that's really the joy of From Software games, just running into something and then, oh, I've died now, and whatever happens, right? And so 25th of February 2022, I'm really looking forward to Elden Ring if they keep that release date. I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands on that game. And of all the games on the list, this is the one I'm definitely going to be making content for. You'll see me streaming that game 110 billion%. And the next up, a bit of a curveball of the game, is the new Saints Row game coming in 2022. Saints Row the Third is one of my favorite games of all time. I really enjoyed that game, I guess as a kid. I can't remember how old I was, but I definitely wasn't an adult when Saints Row the Third came out. I had an absolutely great time with the game. It was my first ever Saints Row experience, and I have to say I loved it. Just running around with a giant purple dildo and doing whatever was just fun. The other Saints Row games, as time went on, I didn't really appeal to me that much. Like, you know, the next one where you're president and then get out of hell, I just wasn't really a big fan of those. Like, I didn't like seeing them, so I just kind of lost touch with the series from there. They did like Agents of Mayhem or whatever, and that was kind of like a huge flop. So it looks like with the most recent one, they're taking a step back. I believe it was an origin story of the Saints. So it's looking as wacky. All the stuff I love from Saints Row the Third is kind of molding all together back into this one game. So I'm really excited to jump into that one and, you know, have fun with that. I think, you know, I think that's going to be a game just for dumb fun for me, and a bit of a nostalgia kick. And, you know, if it's as good as I hope it is, I'm going to be having a great time with that game. And that one a little bit later in the year, planned for an August release, I think August 22nd or something like that, for 2022. So look out for that. Next up is God of War Ragnarok. I think this is on everyone's most excited list for 2022. I think the release date for it got leaked as like, I think around September time next year. So late next year, if it does manage to stick to that the release date. I'm not holding to that too much because I don't like to believe a leak and then it turns out to be wrong and it's later than it planned, and then I'm disappointed. So for the most part, I'm just going to be looking forward to the game at some point next year. And now the God of War game that dropped in 2019 was a huge contender for my game of the decade. I absolutely loved that game. I poured so much time into that game, an unbelievable amount, an unhealthy amount of time into that game. It looked absolutely beautiful. I was also playing the game on a base PS4, so like the entire time I was pretty sure my PS4 was going to explode or take off or just set my entire room on fire at the time. Luckily it didn't. So I'm really excited to see how that one plays out on next gen hardware. The game is going to look better, run better. I'm really excited to see the continuation of the story, the twists they left at the end of God of War, which you haven't played the original God of War, by the way. Spoiler alert, I guess. Atreus, you know, ending up to, he's actually Loki. You know, obviously if you know your Nordic mythology, you know Loki, the trickster. And I guess if you know Marvel as well, you know Loki, the trickster. That's really exciting. You know, Thor appeared at the end of the last game as well, so I want to see how all of that plays out. That was a huge cliffhanger for me, and like I'm really excited to see that. I'm a bit of a lore nerd when it comes to mythology, so like that's something I actually don't talk about. I'm a huge like nerd, geek, whatever, when it comes to like Greek mythology, Nordic mythology. Like I know like all of the stories. So you know, that's one thing I really loved about God of War, is just like going through the game, like the history and like the mythology was just so accurate. And you know, just hearing the stories told like as if they were real, like that was really cool for me. So I can't wait to see what they do for the next game. Generally, the 2019 God of War game is one of my favorite games of all time. So I am unbelievably excited to see where the story goes. So yeah, look out for that game. I'd say late 2022 is the best time for it to come out. According to leak, we're probably seeing it September time. I'm not getting my hopes up for that, but you know, I'm really looking forward to that one. And then next up, I think a game I'm not so much excited about but more interested in, I'll say, is Forspoken. And Forspoken is Square Enix's most recent new IP. It's basically an isekai. This girl is transformed to this mythical world. She has powers. I don't know too much about the story right now. The game sort of rolls around her and her magic and like traversing this new world. And why I guess I'm more interested than anything that's excited is I think the game looks absolutely amazing. I think I might have said that about every game so far, but that's just the generation of game we're in right now. Everything's gonna look amazing. You know, the next gen hardware is amazing, new graphics card for PCs or whatever, they're amazing. So things are gonna look amazing and be amazing. But with this one, it just looks so good. Like I remember the first time we saw the trailer for it or any kind of content for it was at the PS5 showcase before the consoles had even come out. And you know, we saw like her like traversing this landscape, and you know the effects, the foliage, everything just looked amazing as she's jumping. There's like a shockwave that's left off as she leaps off of the ground. And it just looked absolutely amazing, and the terrain looked big and you can go everywhere, and that was something that really excited me for the game. It really piqued my interest. But much like Calvin Candy from Django Unchained, it only really had my curiosity, to say the most part. You know, yes, it looked great, it looked amazing, but I was trying to find, okay, but like what's the hook? Then more gameplay for the game was revealed, and like the combat was shown, and it just looked like, it kind of just looked like a magic dumping simulator. Like it looks like you stand back from all these enemies, you dodge, and then you just throw magic, and you know, for that part, it looked I don't know, the combat to me looks kind of underwhelming. I'd really like to see, that's why I want to see more of the game. Like if that's all there is to it, this one might be getting a miss from me. But you know, it just looks so amazing. Square Enix is one of my favorite developers sometimes, So I'm really excited to see what they do with this, but for now they only have my curiosity and it will take a while for them to get my attention. But Forspoken is planned for a May release date, 25th of May, I believe, 2022. So, you know, even though it may not interest me, I'm sure there are some of you that see that gameplay and that really appeals to you. So make sure you get your hands on that one if you're looking forward to it. Next up, another big game for me is one that kind of just sort of came out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about it, and then it just really just slapped me around the face. Is Sifu. And Sifu is a martial arts game with a really unique mechanic. I think it kind of reminds me of the Souls game a little bit, in the fact that, like, you know, death is a mechanic. Every time you die in the game, you come back slightly older. And then with that, you know, your skills, you learn new moves. There are some things you can only do at a certain age. So like your martial arts, you know, sort of only gets better every time you die. Why I really love that is, as someone who practiced karate when I was a very young boy, I did Shotokan karate from, I think, the age of 6, like 14. I think I got my black belt at 11 years old, I think 11 or 10 years old. One of like the main philosophies they kind of teach you early on, and one of the main philosophies, I guess, in any kung fu or martial art is sort of like, with age, skill also comes with that. And I think it's such a unique way to sort of bring that philosophy into the game. Like, every time you die, you become older and your skills get better, which is something that I learned as a very young age. So that appeals to me. I looked at that like, oh yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. So I'm very excited for Sifu. The combat looks very fluid. It's by the people I believe made the Absolver game, a game I never played but I've been meaning to for a long time. So I might play that. I actually have the game. I might play that at some point, just sort of take a look at what they're doing with that and see how that will translate to the next game, and sort of, I think, appreciate their next game a bit more. And that game is planned for a February 22nd release date, so not too far off from now. I'm really excited for that, so keep your eyes on that one. And the last game I'm going to mention for this video is Dying Light 2. And like I've said, for a lot of the games on this list that have predecessors, the first Dying Light game, I poured a lot of time into that game. Just gonna be honest, it was just really fun. The traversal was amazing, for the free running was amazing, the combat was really good, the skills, the weapons that you could use, the way they use the night and day cycle. They're like, hey bro, night is coming, you gotta get out of there because those guys, the really strong zombies are coming, you can't kill those. Even though I spent a large amount of time trying to kill those zombies, and I'm pretty sure I did a couple of times, I can't remember, it's been many years since then. I am really looking forward to Dying Light 2. I think my main gripe with the first Dying Light game was the story. I thought it wasn't that great. You're playing generic hero guy number 5, and you know, he's just like, I'm here to do things, and the people are like, okay, but can you help us? He's like, okay, I'm gonna help you, but also here to do my thing. And then it was just like, yeah, whatever, like, just a very generic story. You knew what was gonna happen every step of the way. There were no twists and turns, no expectations were subverted, but the gameplay was amazing, so I had very little gripes with that. And then with Dying Light 2, the fact you can make your own story decisions, which impact how the rest of the game goes, I think that's great. I think take away the one thing I really didn't like about the first game and put it into my hands. So if the story is bad in the second game, I can only blame myself. I mean, that, or the choices will just be really bad as well. But either way, I think the gameplay is going to be great. Looks amazing from what we can see. They're only going bigger and better. They're only improving. It's been many years since the first Dying Light game, so I feel like they've had so much time to improve, learn from other games. And yeah, I think it's going to look amazing. It's going to be amazing. I'm very excited for that one. I have very little negatives to think of when it comes to that game, because like I said, my main gripe was story. It's in my hands now, and I'm a genius. I don't fuck shit up, so it's going to be a great game. And that one is planned for a 4th of February release date, so that one's also pretty soon on the way. I hope that one doesn't get delayed, but if it does, I think delays happen. Well, it's still in the middle of a pandemic. If it happens, whatever the hell, but I'll be enjoying that game regardless. And that is going to be it for this list. There's obviously other games as well that I definitely have my eye on, but those are the ones that will be getting the most attention from me, that has been announced, or stuff that have just really caught my fancy. And just a few games for honorable mentions. The Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, that looks amazing. The only reason it's not on the list originally is because it doesn't have a release date yet, and it's planned for 2022, but I can kind of see that one getting pushed back to 2023 potentially. And the same goes for the Gotham Knights game as well. Another one I'm really looking forward to, but I can see that one being pushed to 2023. They're both being done on Rocksteady Games. Rocksteady knows how to make a good game. The Suicide Squad game looks like a better version of the Marvel's Avengers game that was released. And the Marvel's Avengers guys actually sponsored me for that game to play it on stream. So, you know I'm being honest when I say that. It kind of looks like what the Marvel's Avengers game should have been. And I'm really looking forward to both of those games. But they're not on the list because I can see those ones being pushed back to 2023. And also, another honorable mention to Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know too much about this game, so I can't really speak too much on it, but it just interests me. You're going through the Sea of Tokyo, so I'm excited to see what they do with this. I'm a huge weeb, so it's set in Japan, so like it's in Tokyo, stuff's happening over there. Looks a bit spooky. What more do I have to say? Thank you guys for checking out this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed. Please let me know what games you guys are looking forward to in 2022 and beyond. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.